Welcome back. Well, Yemi Adeoye joins us now. He's the publisher of BeastTalents.com. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we clearly have a situation in our hands now. And, different perspectives. Today we see Ipman in the dailies accepting responsibility, and then business, they have their own version as to fixation causing this acute shortage. You've covered this industry for a long time. What do you think is going on?
First of all, I think the situation we're having now, we need to appreciate the fact that there's a problem. So communicating that fact to the masses is very, very important and vital at this point. There is a problem in the country right now. I heard the gentleman you had earlier talking about 200 naira per liter.
Yeah.
We're paying at 300 naira per liter right now, so there is a problem, and people are sleeping over at the fuel station. It's affecting everything, and that has to be appreciated. And when people are frustrated in this manner, you expect the kind of reactions, of course, that you've been seeing. So I think the government needs to do a lot in appealing to the masses, letting them understand that this problem, yes, is existing at this moment. This is not the time for denials. We need to appreciate that there's a problem and start looking for ways to resolve them. And as far as I'm concerned, the situation on our hands now is dicey. So it's as much as it may sound, it's time for us to take the bitter pill. Let's go back to swap.
The one that
the controversial, corruption-laden, whatever names you want to call it. You have to go back, because fact is this: the marketers are telling you right now that they can access forex, and these people, their participation in the flow or inflow of petroleum products in the country is huge. So if they can access forex at the CBN rate, then we have a problem. It's beyond, the previous fuel scarcities we've been having, which probably would be occasioned by hike in fuel price or government's intention to hike fuel price. This time around, the marketers who form a major part of the importation business, they are saying they can access forex at the price that they ought to. So if you now ask them to go access forex, as of this morning it's about 321, I guess. So if they buy at 321, NNPC gets at 197. So how do you balance that?
Okay, so if you're having given that reason that they can't access forex, so if they access forex, they'll have to sell at above 86 naira 50 kobo.
It's common knowledge.
Yeah. Then you now say, as a result of that, solution will be go back to swap, which is controversial, really, with all sorts of allegations. So why don't you mute the fact? Why don't we just deregulate the sector such that different players' prices will...
Well, we could be looking at swap as a short-term measure. When I say go back to swap, I mean it as a short-term measure, because what is concerned to, or what is major or primary to Nigerians right now, is that they get fuel and they stop sleeping over the fuel stations. So how that is done is really not their business.
Okay, but you know that the government wants to ensure that that sector is transparent, and then they rid it of corruption. So if you say go back to swap, yes, the people want fuel. They in turn want to ensure they get the fuel, but then things go properly. How would you then advocate we go back to swap, and then we don't have to deal with corruption issues?
Sadly, it's a suggestion. You can't ask for rain and don't want to deal with the mud. So if you ask for rain, you get set to deal with the mud. It's simple. So if you go back to swap, it's a short-term temporary measure, and during the period that swap will be on, swap is simple. It's just a barter arrangement. I give you crude, you give me petrol. Okay, this is my crude. From this crude, I can get my naphtha, AGO, petrol, DPK, aviation. You list what you want. So it's a barter arrangement. It's not meant to be a long-term measure. It's just because we have a dicey situation on our hands. What is going on out there on the street is not funny. It's not funny. So, and I know, as a responsible person who also came from the private sector, the minister would, of course, be concerned, because I want to believe that while he was there at the private sector, he probably would have also, either him or his drivers would have queued for fuel in this country at a time. So it's really not a problem of this administration per se. This issue of fuel crisis, since return to civil rule, even before then, there is hardly any government that has not had its fair share of fuel crisis.
So if we go back to swap, as a temporary measure. How temporary will that be? Because there's no guarantee that they'll get Forex at 197.
With swap, you probably wouldn't be needing Forex.
That means it won't be temporary, it will become permanent.
No, it won't be. The permanent solution to the fuel crisis in this country is simple. It's that we need to improve domestic refining. That is a long-term solution. I mean, it's just common sense. We need to improve domestic refining. The 40 million liters per day consumption being bandied around is wrong. It's wrong. That I've been hearing that figure for the last 15 to 20 years.
You think it's more or less?
It's higher. We can't be doing less than 60, 65 million liters a day in Nigeria. In fact, we can't be doing less than 70 million a day. Do you see the amount? For the first time, I'm seeing generators on queue. For the first time, I'm seeing black market people buying fuel from black market sellers. So in the black market business now, there are wholesalers, there are retailers. So it's taking a new dimension as we speak. Now you've gone to the fuel. So we need to appreciate, first of all, that there's a problem. Look at the scenario. You've been at the fuel station for 2 nights, sleeping over. You've not been with your family. You managed to get fuel with some bruises, of course. You get back home, put that fuel in your generator, kickstart the generator, and you put on your TV set only to see the government telling you that Nigeria will be among the 20 most industrialized nations in 2020. You feel like breaking the TV. That's the kind of anger that's going on out there. So we need to get real. We need to get serious. For me, swap is a bitter pill. It's been abused. It's not like swap itself is wrong. It's the management of that program. It's a barter arrangement. A lot of private companies do barter arrangement.
We understand that the NNPC is already, engaging in swap arrangements, because as it stands, even the NNPC doesn't seem to have been able to obtain Forex.
Well, if they are engaging in the swap arrangement, then I think need I say more? Because that for me, these are my personal views. Because when you have a dicey situation, like we have in our hands now, you don't look at the conventional solutions. You look at something that can meet that serious situation you're facing.
From all that you've heard so far from the Minister of State for Petroleum, do you think that they saw this shortage, this acute shortage coming?
Well, I think they did not prepare for it. I think they did not prepare for it adequately enough. Of course, that is what is giving ground for what is happening now. Of course, this issue is occasioned by several other issues. Nigeria is a monoproduct dependent economy. The only thing we depend on for Forex in this country is crude oil sales. And that has dropped drastically. I mean, that's no longer news anyway. It has dropped drastically. That is the only line of Forex income that we have as a nation. That is a major anyway. So when that has happened, it simply means that the things you can take care of before that period, you can't take care of them anymore. So now we are looking at a situation where government has to, take quick steps. And the quickest step I see is talking to refineries around the world. You have petrol. Okay, we have crude. A lot of them need crude. They all need crude to refine anyway. So we need to go back to swap. Yes, some people may benefit, but that we are at the mercy of those people as we speak as a nation. So that is the bitter pill we need to swallow at this point. Some people may benefit from the swap. Of course, if you mismanage it like you did the previous one, fine.
Do you have a recipe for a better management of the swap process?
Simple. The recipe I see, because I'm not a technical person in the oil and gas sector. But I'm talking based on logic now. The simplest measure that I see is getting people, Nigerians, who are not morally insolvent, people who are not suffering from moral bankruptcy, to come and manage the swap system, because you need to give it a timeline. That we're going to do this as a stopgap measure so that Nigerians will stop queuing up at the fuel station. That's all. So if you say, okay, we're doing it for 6 months, we're doing it for 1 year, within that period, you want to now put together the long-term measure, which involves the liberalization of the downstream sector, which of course would enable players coming and effectively. And of course, I also advocate for the sale of the refineries, basically. I don't think government has any business running those refineries. There are a lot of people who hold the view that you know, it's a national asset. And I ask, at what price? It's a national asset, but moribund.